We are on a kill on flats with our Protoss to the top left. Vampire with an early lead in game number 1. Game number 2, he loses to his opponent at the bottom right. In blue, we have the Zerg player for Kate, your all-star. It is Crazy.
Crazy playing a much better game in game 2. Getting a little bit lucky that he was able to catch Vampire's sentries, but it was an opportunistic move. Opportunistic. Not to create a shortened version of that word. Opportunistic would be a nice way to say it, though.
Yeah.
There goes the first pylon for Vampire, and as is his usual style, he's going to pylon scout, not leaving anything up to chance. And this map is pretty cool. I like it. The more it's played with the new watchtowers that explode or disappear, whatever you want to call it, disappearing in the map, it's pretty comforting.
They just deactivate.
Yeah, they deactivate. And when they're active, don't be fooled. This has tricked me so many times. I think we talked about this. Whenever you stand on the watchtower, it doesn't actually animate correctly, so I always get really confused when that happens.
Yeah, where did the last time?
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, is he not controlling the watchtower? What's going on?
Well, right now we have Crazy and Vampire in the third game, so this is where things get real, where one of those will drop down into Code B. The standard opening for Crazy again with the spawning pool here. And those Zerglings that he had, the approach that he went for in the last game really paid off for him. It was a very different map to Neoplanet S, and he used this early aggression to put some pressure on the Vampire. Now on a kill on flats, we have to find out what the plan of Vampire is. Will we see him with a more aggressive attitude towards the game, or will he once again try to take his third base?
Yeah, so we're gonna wait and see.
On this map, you can definitely take your third. It's like a little bit easier than on Belcher Vestige for sure.
Yeah. Now, Crazy, he showed us that he was able to put the Ling aggression on last game. He loves to cut roaches out of his play entirely. Both games, just no roaches. Now, I wonder if he's going to change it up in game number 3 and try to put roaches.
By the way, I got a quick question for you. Am I the only one, or when you read his nickname, are you always thinking about, well, I just met you?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on this. Like, I want to sing this song every time.
Guys, this kind of became our... This is like our song now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
We had this so much, like, and every single time we are at a bar or wherever and the song plays, we just burst out laughing because it's just so cool. And I'm pretty sure that if you watch the GSL frequently, regularly, you know exactly what we are talking about.
Yeah, look up Call Me Maybe.
Yeah.
Or if you don't know. If you're kind of one of those people who doesn't go on the internet except to watch StarCraft or something like that.
Exactly. But I think you know what we're talking about. Anyways, we have Crazy. He probably changed his ID when he heard the song because he was so fascinated by it. Trying to poke at the Vampire's wall. He could actually get one of those Zerglings in at the pylon. I don't think that it's covered.
If he tries to run in and he hugs it, he could run in, I think. But the core...
He doesn't see it. Oh! That is one missed opportunity for Crazy.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but... You know what's cool about this wall? I really like it's a tight wall, but that neutral depot can be destroyed at any time. He doesn't lose anything to do that. It belongs to him. Just do that essentially now on the map. So to do a full wall here, totally fine. You can kill that depot anytime. You can't lower it, but you can kill it. No gases yet.
Yeah, for Crazy we have no gas at this point. He's going into the third base once again. And I'm more interested what Vampire is going to do. We had him with an opening with Robo before +1 in both games so far. The Overlord is trying to find out if this is exactly what he does again.
Yeah, he hasn't started Warp Gate research. He could go Robo before Warp Gate.
We could also still see the Stargate, but from the first 2 games it looks like he really likes his Robo play, and there it is again. Robo first before the +1 attack upgrade.
Yeah, even before the Warp Gate research was started.
Yeah, a very, very fast Robo. This is like the fastest Robo that you can actually get.
Yeah. And Crazy is not going to see it, and he's going to lose this Overlord. So he's going to, he's going to have to make an additional Overlord. Already he started it, but it's a little bit frustrating when you lose an Overlord and don't get anything.
He has a second Overlord at the bottom left now, and the Overlord might just not be able to scout it. He didn't see it.
Yeah, he didn't quite see it.
But is he poking up with the Zerglings? If he actually goes up the ramp now, and he does, he could see it. There we go.
Now he sees it. Really nicely done. He clicks on it as well.
Okay, so yeah, you didn't see it on camera, but he saw the robotics facility, so he knows what's going on here. And he saw the time. He comes to +1 attack upgrade. Observer first, once again, chrono boosted, but I think there is no doubt that we are going to see him immortal right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, otherwise, why build it this quickly? You know, you lose too much if you're not going to go for that push, and you go for this fast. But
he goes into Twilight again.
Yeah, Twilight again. This time before the second observer, but now he starts a second obs as well.
Yep.
This is weird, but you know, the idea was there last game. He lost not because his build was weird, but because he just didn't pay attention to his sentries and they all died.
Exactly. It was not like a build order problem. It was a problem with attention to the minimap.
So I wonder if we can see how this build really plays out now. I mean, this is a build that people have used in the past. Now he's doing something really crazy. He's making a third observer. That's really rare, and honestly, I'm not even sure if it's good. Like, you can't do that much with 3 observers this early on in the game. The only thing it could be used for is positionally, you know, on the map. You know what I just realized, Calder? Since there's no green strip for this, we can ping the minimap. I could actually ping the minimap while we're casting this, and it'll be shown on the screen that they're looking at. And it won't bother the Koreans because there's no Korean streamers.
That's actually true.
I'm going to start doing this when it's appropriate now.
Yeah, that's a good point. I actually didn't even think about that.
Wow, I'm like, my heart's beating a little bit faster. I'm like really excited. I'm like, whoa.
It's like a revelation.
I know.
Well, at this point, Zergling is just trying to poke again, but I'm fairly sure that Vampire is going to pay attention to his sentries this time. We should not see a repetition of what happened in game number 2.
Yeah, he's got a nice wall. He's keeping his sentries in a safe spot there. Spire is the tech of choice for Crazy, and this is a good map for Spire. You can go between the 3 bases really easy. There's a ton of dead space, especially behind the 3rd.
You need to make sure that you dodge the Blink Stalkers, because Vampire's build here is also very effective. If you have good Blink Micro and very good positioning with your Blink Stalkers, then you can protect these bases. But one missed Blink, and you suddenly have your army split, half of them on the high ground, the other half on the low ground. So you have to be very, very careful here. If you miss one blink, then the the Zerg is in this perfect position where he can just take down half of your Stalkers, and you can't do anything about it.
I really like how Crazy is controlling the flow of the game right now with this link. He's just threatening to run in all the time while taking a 4th base. There go the Mutas, 11 of them on the way.
Yeah,
12 even. Wow, he's really committing to these, and this is so scary.
And behind it, he's taking his 4th base. So the idea for him is to not only surprise his opponent, which is going to be very difficult because of those observers that we have on the map, but also to get control of the mid-game and get the safety for his 4th base. Without this map dominance, he wouldn't be able to take his 4th without running the risk of being counter-attacked. But now he has the Mutalisks out there. And Vampire scouted. So Vampire is looking at this like, well, okay, you go Mutalist. I have to play defensive now. I need to get more Stalkers, and I need to make sure that they are positioned well. Yeah. But he doesn't get more Stalkers at this point, and this is really confusing for me.
Yeah, 19 drones, by the way, started from Crazy, which is great behind what he's doing. He's going to keep the frost in his base, and there's no cannons here, there's nothing.
Even with the 5 Stalkers that he just built, he only has 6.
Yeah, and there's... I mean, sentries are not good anti-air units, so he's not going to be able to actually chase the Mutas. The sentries are too slow. He blinks in, but that one Stalker looks a little bit... this is what we're talking about. If you miss blink like this, your units are stuck. He's trapped on the ramp. Crazy could have done more. And there's a Ling run by at the 3rd.
Crazy
This could not be worse.
Crazy doesn't realize what's going on
now
here.
He's going to fight here. He's like, wait a minute, you have no Stalkers. This could be game ending. He decides to play it safer and fight the probes instead.
Crazy is about to find out what's going on here, and this is a big problem for his opponent.
He could have actually fought there.
He doesn't have the gas, Wolf. He does not have the gas to get all the Stalkers in there, but Crazy doesn't realize
he needs
that
to
the
be
Stalker count is
canceling
this low.
Colossus range right now and making Stalkers.
Well, with Crazy retreating, he's fine, but this could have been worse.
Yeah, I agree.
If Crazy had the perfect vision and knew what we knew, then he could have just attacked.
Yeah. Now, I mean, he's in a position where he's making more Stalkers and the attack is not as deadly as it could have been, but he's still got a great position with his Mutas here. And the Colossus range, he's going to keep it. Yeah. Obviously, it can be useful later on.
And we had Crazy killing 14 probes. Crazy is actually at a crazy drone count. He's at 90.
Yeah.
90 against just barely 64. And now he can get... Yeah, there they are. Spine crawlers, a lot of them building. He wants to make sure that his Broodlord tech is safe. Infestation bit coming up. And he actually reinforces his drone count. He goes up to 96. He will be at 100 drones in a few seconds.
And this is just excellent play. He's just so positional. There's no way the Cross player's going to cross the middle of the map even with this many mutas out here.
What he has to make sure of is that later on he will be able to build spine crawlers with all those drones so that he frees up supply and can go into army supply. That's the important part. But at this point, everything looks so solid for Crazy.
This is one of the most stressful things you can ever face as a Pro player is this mutalist count, but you know that the mutas are not the problem, they're just the first step, and you know that the big problem is that career spires are going to be started, those spine crawlers are being started that you can't touch right now because you have to be in your base because of the mutas. There's no amount of cans you can make to defend and go across the map.
You know, the scary part for Vampire is actually that he doesn't even know that. He does not know if Crazy is suddenly committing heavily to Mutalisk and gets another 15 of them, or if there's going to be attack behind this.
That's the scary thing, because you know something's going on over there, you just don't know what. Is it mutas, or is it more likely going to be those investors and the Greater Spire, which is arguably even scarier?
And Crazy doesn't take any chances. He goes into the Infestors first. He doesn't even... Well, he also has the Hive Tech. All those spine crawlers that he's building right now, he can afford them because he's on 4 bases. He's getting a 5th base, and with the drone count, he has such an... crazy income. It's insane. This guy is in the best position ever. And Vampire, he wants to get this 200 supply army. He has decent upgrades. He's going into +3. He has charge. So it's not like he has a bad army, but he needs to do a lot of damage. And we have an attack at the top left at this point.
There it is. And the mutas can't quite trade here just yet, but eventually he is going to want to throw them, not throw them away, but get the best out of them that he can so he can remax a better army, because mutas obviously not an army supply. He can keep them until he holds his Frost push, because if there's a base trade, he can obviously use the more mobile mutas.
If you want to criticize Crazy, one of the things that you could criticize is that his injects are not really all that good. He's at 25 lava now, and if he wants to reinforce his army or rebuild it, that's going to be a problem, especially since he missed a lot of injects. So that's going to be an issue later on. But right now, Vampire is moving out. He's trying to do damage here. Greater Spire is not done. This is this pre-Broodlord timing that we talked about in game number 2.
He will have 37 spines, I believe, with those last ones finishing. That's ridiculous. No, okay, so there's only 3 days. So he's going to have like 32, but that's a lot. And this is what I'm talking about. If you still have the mutas alive, you can actually go and do counterattacks, kill the Forge, for example, and force some units home. Yeah, he loses a hatchery, but
he doesn't have cannons back home. That's the big problem now. But at the bottom right, we have Vampire now just going for it. And Vampire is trying to bust through here. The Colossus needs to be careful, already being attacked by Zerglings. Nice split by Vampire, but
the
still.
The mutas here are really scary. They're coming back. He has to make sure he does not take them too lightly. They're going to come back and try to pick off the Colossus. All these Stalkers are low on hit points. Here we go.
Colossus just doesn't stand a chance. Yes, he loses Mutalisk, but this is a trade well worth it, especially since him buying time for the Broodlords is the big issue.
Yeah, and there's just another wave of Spine Crawlers on top of the ramp. He's got on top of the ramp 11 Spine Crawlers. Plus those 2 on the side. The Lings come down to surround the Stalkers. Mutas from the back and good Fungals, and here come the Broods. This is just a 1-2-3 punch, really, from Crazy, and Vampire's dropping in supply. He doesn't have a 4th. I think this is it for him.
Yeah, Vampire right now is pinned down, and those Broodlords are already following him. We still have this mobile Air Force with those Mutalisks that can do damage. And the only thing that Crazy really lost was the base to the top right, his 5th base. That's something that he happily sacrifices for this huge advantage and position in the game with Broodlords, with Infestors, with Corruptors coming up.
Vampire is starting double Robo here, and to be honest, I just don't think that's even going to accomplish very much for him. He needs to deal with these Broodlords somehow. I'd rather almost even see him add a Stargate.
A run by at the top left again.
Yeah, he will clean this up decently well, but he keeps his attention.
I don't know. He needs to warp in more units.
Lands, and he didn't finish Starmer. I guess he's not. He's going to lose his 4th again with no cancel.
The 4th gone, no cancel, and still Zerglings at the main base, or rather the natural, now heading into the main, forcing another warp in.
Oh, this is just, it's too much, and
he can't get rid of his money. Look at this money. 2,000 minerals and 1,200 gas. He does not have the production to really get rid of all of this.
Yeah, he doesn't want gateway units. He wants more Colossi. He wants to have some sort of tech to deal with the Broods. Yeah, he can make a bunch of Stalkers, but he's only got 8 gates right now.
Here we go, 6 additional High Templars. He wants to go into additional Archons. This is one of the things that he can do to get rid of his gas bag and the minerals. trying to establish the 4th base, but this is all not going to be very useful.
Yeah, I mean, the Broodlords, there's going to be 11 of them, and he doesn't have any way to get underneath them with the Infestors out, as well as 5 more coming through. He even kills probes with the I really like how good he is right now.
Crazy is playing very solid with them. He always utilizes them. He's not just throwing them away, but trying to go in. Here we have Zerglings versus Archons. That's not the best engagement.
Yeah, he could have actually just run by and targeted down the next. I think that was his plan, but he did not control his units at all. This is a great opportunity for Vampire to try to grab this game by the horns and try to get back into it, because now his base is going to finish and he cleaned up a ton of Lings. And like you said, Crazy's not hitting his larva injects extremely well, so losing Lings like that is pretty important.
He's down to 5 lava at this point, so lava injects really an issue for Crazy. This is not necessarily going to be a problem for him, but it might lose him a game like this, depending on how the big fight goes.
This is so important. These Broodlords are going to be so difficult to kill without a mothership. I don't think he can do it.
He needs an Archon toilet wolf.
Yeah, here come the bundles, and those zealots in the back not able to do anything. Starts transfusing the broods.
Great fungal here. A great fungal pinning those units down, and here come the Stalkers blinking in, trying to do what they can. The Archons following in their step, but this is just not enough.
Yeah, just barely so many Broodlords. He can't get past the Broodlings. The Broodling count is so high that he can't close the distance. He keeps playing some Stalkers, he can't move.
The Antia is not there.
Yeah, this is going to be it. Even the Corruptor starts to chase down the Warp Prisoner. And Vampire is going to have to type out here. I don't think Crazy's going to attack his 4th. I think he's just going to try to end the game and try to kill the main base. He could go for the 4th if he wants to. He could do anything. He goes for the 4th with Lings and goes for the army with the Broodlords.
Well, Zerglings running in, and Vampire is GG.
He's done.
Crazy with a 2-1 advances to the 2nd round of Code A, and Vampire is now down to Code B.
Yeah, Vampire not showing his normal Protoss versus Zerg with us there, making a few mistakes in the mid-game in both games. Game number 1 taking a great timing attack, but not able to play to the late game. He looks very disappointed.
He did not see those Mutalisks coming. Yeah. He did really not see them coming. He had 1 Stalker when the Mutalisks arrived at the base, warped in another 5, but with 6 Stalkers against 12 Mutalisks, Crazy could even have done more damage than he already did, but it was enough. What they accomplished were killing 14 probes, and even more, they pinned down the entire Protoss army into the main base, allowing Crazy to drone up like a madman, going up to 100 drones on 4 bases, and having this sick economy and safety in the mid-game that allowed him to go safely to Broodlords.
Yeah, it did. It was just really solid play. I was impressed by Crazy. We're going to go into Flying versus Arthur, though. It's our next match. We're going to get some information on these players put up on the screen, and really the information we're going to get is what they look like and what maps they're playing on.
Exactly. Our 2nd game is going to be a Protoss versus Protoss, and we have Arthur, former Slayers player. He has to face Flying on Daybreak first. Game number 1 going to be played on this old school map.
What I really like about Arthur is he's a player who never gives up. He's actually your story of someone who plays in PC bombs and plays at home on the ladder for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. Like, he had so many games played on his profile in Wings of Liberty last time I checked. He played so much, he grinded out, and finally, one day he got noticed. He got picked up by Slayers. Turned out it was the wrong team to join at the time. It was bad timing, but now he's teamless. Still, even though he's teamless, he's playing so many ladder games, practicing so hard, he's able to qualify for Code A. This guy is just a great story, a great example of what it takes to be a pro gamer kind of on your own.
And the thing about Arthur also is that in the preliminaries, he was able to take down Terminator with the 2-0, talking about PvP. So this is already sets a little bit the stage for this game, with Flying not having the greatest mirror matchup. I have him at 5 wins and 9 losses. This is a 36% win ratio. The last games that he played was against Drain at the MLG Winter Showdowns, where he lost with 3-2. He was able to win against the best in the last Pro League season in round 3, but still, against Protoss these days, not that impressive.
Yeah, not quite. And I have to say, I've seen Flying's play already. I was not impressed with Protoss versus Protoss. Protoss versus Terran was something I really liked, but for me, this match is about kind of a proving grounds for Arthur, the teamless player. He's the real underdog here, the big story in this entire afternoon group. For me, I think, I mean, not the evening session, but for this morning session, or whatever you want to call it, afternoon, depending on where you are in the world, our first session, Arthur's the guy to look out for. Can he do well enough here to impress teams and get himself noticed and maybe turn his career around?
Yeah. I really like what you said about flying, by the way. His pros versus Terran is a lot better than his mirror match, and he has to face Arthur now in a matchup that's not easy for him. For Arthur, there's of course a lot on the line. He wants to be picked up, and right now we're just waiting for Flying, who just joined the lobby, so we are basically good to go. The maps, if you just look at them with Daybreak, we're a very classical map, and Whirlwind is always a little bit weird for Protoss versus Protoss. There are a lot of mind games going on. How much can you get away with? Is your opponent playing aggressive? Will we see gateway aggression? What's going to happen here? So that's not easy to call. We've seen very, very strange builds on Whirlwind. And then the deciding map, if need be, is going to be Icarus.
Yeah, Icarus could be really weird for PvP. I wonder what we're going to see there because of that backdoor expansion. Things could be a little bit different. That's actually something I'm really looking forward to now. I wonder what we're going to see there. But if it gets that far, jumping into map number 1, it's Daybreak here at the GSL Code. Let's do it right now.